The back of the Canadian $20 bill some years showed a picture of Moraine Lake, and today we're going to paint Moraine Lake. It has a beautiful turquoise water, and it's just a beautiful place to be, and I've never been there. So how did I get the picture? Well, I got a screenshot. First of all, let's go there. It's up in Calgary. Look at that cool graphic. Looks like we're flying there, right? Well, let me show you the real video that I got it from. It is from this guy. Yes, this is Robert Morales, and he has a YouTube channel called Traveling with Robert, and he goes all over the place, everywhere. And if you want to see the country, see the world vicariously through somebody with a very skilled, a lot of skills. He's got a lot of sets of skills. He's a musician, he's a videographer, and he's a great narrator, and he just seems like a guy I'd love to get to know. I did a painting on a greeting card for him once before. It was of the camper he was using at that time, which he called Mini Tinny, and I put it in a fictional place. But today, it's a real place that he went to, and I took a screenshot from his video to use as a reference photo so that I could paint today's painting. I think the biggest challenge was the color of the water. Now, I've never been there, but Robert's camera captured it, even though he says the camera doesn't do it justice. I'll take his word for it. If the camera doesn't do it justice, then neither does my painting. So, alas, I love that word, alas. Alas, I probably would have to do this on site, but even then, you really cannot reproduce God's beauty. No, you have to see it for yourself. But the next best thing is through a painting or a video or a photograph, you know. Anyway, and in the course of this painting, I do have some facts that I looked up on the internet, and I'll share them with you. But let's go to Moraine Lake in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I'll show you how I painted this watercolor. It only took a little over a half hour, so it didn't take a long time, but the real stickler was to get that blue-green. That was the real issue for me. All right, let me show you how I did this right now. All right, let's start with this sky here and try to replicate that beautiful scene that Robert Morales shared with us on his channel, Traveling Robert. And I am a big fan of Robert Morales. I love watching his videos, and the guy is super talented in music, and I'm probably, I don't want to say I'll never say never, but I'll probably never get to this place, Moraine Lake. But it looked beautiful. And so I'm going to give it a shot. And the thing about the lake, and this is what Robert pointed out, is it's got this turquoise water in it, you know? So that's probably going to be hard to reproduce. He even said that it's probably not doing it justice in the photographs. But in the photographs, it looked beautiful. And I'm just going to try my best to replicate it, to get the stunning beauty of this place, and share it with you if I can. Now, what I'll probably do, since this was inspired by Robert, is I'll probably send this one to him. I'll try to get that color in this lake. So we have the sky. I'm not sure if I've done with the sky yet, but I'm going to let that dry up there, and then I'll put the mountains in there. But then the lake has this turquoise color to it, and the way he describes it, it's almost unreal looking. And see if I can duplicate it at all. There's a little bit of turquoise right there. Just try to get these colors really kind of pure. This turquoise is such a delicate balance between blue and green. And according to the internet, the reason the color is the way it is in Moraine Lake is because of the glaciers. I'll read that to you in a moment when I have to let this dry. Then I'll take that time. But I'm just trying to make sure some light is here. Some of the light reflecting off of the water. I think it's the snow caps on the mountains. I don't know when he went there. I probably can figure it out if I look at the video. Probably says on there. So right here we have some. I guess that's burn. What's that? What would that be considered? Raw sienna right there. Just a little hint of the shoreline that's under the water. It looks really beautiful. Just keep some of this area here for the trees. Get some of this gray in here, I think. It's funny how we all want to travel someplace. And it's really nice when somebody like Robert takes the time to make a video, produce it very professionally, and then the rest of us can sort of go there vicariously. And I have a trip planned also. Robert and I are going to go to Gatlinburg, which is not that far, really. It's far enough, though. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what's there. That's in the Smoky Mountains. This place, Moraine Lake, is in the Canadian Rockies. That's a place I've never been. Do you know what I heard? I heard that you can take a train, like I guess Canada's version of Amtrak, and you can travel through the Canadian Rockies. I know that doesn't look like much yet, but that's the sky and that's the lake. I gotta put the mountains in there. So, but I gotta let the sky dry before I put the mountains in there. So let me just let it dry. I do have some facts I want to read to you from the internet regarding Moraine Lake. It's in the Canadian Rockies. It's known for its turquoise waters, which Robert showed us. It's a glacially fed lake in the Banff National Park in Alberta, Canada. Wow. It says there's so much more to Moraine Lake than meets the eye. So we have some facts here that they put in this article. Let me see if I can find them. It's featured on the Canadian $20 bill. I think I mentioned that in the opening. Moraine Lake's picturesque landscape has captured the attention of many, including the Canadian government. It was featured on the reverse side of the Canadian $20 bill in 1969 and again in 1979. Oh, so it's not always there. Okay. Moraine Lake has served as the backdrop for several movies, including the famous film The Revenant, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. Huh. As one of the few remaining lakes in the world that date back to the last ice age, Moraine Lake is a relic of the past. Its creation can be traced thousands of years back. It's a photographer's paradise. Oh, I can see that. You cannot swim there, it says. The turquoise water is from light reflecting off the rock flour particles. Flour, like what you cook with. Rock flour particles in the glacial meltwater. I guess that's very powdery rock, right? It says you cannot swim. It's not allowed. It's too cold anyway, it says. It's only accessible from late May to early October. There is a hiking trail around it, as you know, if you saw that little clip with Robert. And it says you can rent canoes there. And the area around Moraine Lake is rich in wildlife. It's got grizzly bears, mountain goats, elk, and the Canadian lynx. The Canadian lynx. Wow. It gets its name from the glacial moraines that can be found along its shores. Moraines are formed when glaciers deposit rocks, gravel, and debris as they retreat, creating distinct landforms that add to the scenic charm of the lake. So it's in Banff National Park. Wow, I'm learning a lot about Moraine Lake. So yeah, thank you, Robert, for sharing that with us. And I think our paper is dry now. So this is going to be the tough part. This is the Bob Ross moment. Let's see if we can do this. Remember, there's a lot of snow on this lake, on this mountain too. Okay, here we go, kids. Gonna give it a shot. It's got a lot of snow on it. So I'm just gonna use this gray. Just gonna pull it down there. Try to capture the way it looks. Okay, and over here there will be some trees, so that doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Over here. Got to keep some snow, some white area on there. Where it comes around there, there's some snow. There's a lot of snow on this mountain. And with watercolor, you just leave the white paper for the snow. And this looks like it comes down this way. And then all that snow over there. Wow. Alright, just keep doing this. I'm using gray, but I'm going to add some green to that later on. Let's see if I can add a little bit of some dark areas and some light areas over here. It's not all lit the same. And then you have this big area right here that goes all the way to the top. It's a little bit darker than the background. I'll accomplish that with a couple of layers. There we go. And then some of those snow areas have lights and darks in them also. So I'm not going to keep them completely light. Like that, I'm going to add a little bit. I'm going to take a risk here. I hope I don't mess it up, but I'm going to take a risk and add some light, very light blue in there. I think I have to wait for it to dry though. So this is the edge of the lake right there. We can go ahead and add a little bit of darkness to that. Well, I'm going to have to let it dry, I think. A little bit of dark. Yeah, that's going to have to dry before I do anything else. And then, of course, there's a bit of a reflection in there. Okay. Some dark areas over here in the water and on the sand. Let's go ahead and add some darkness over here. It would be wonderful to go here to this place and set up an easel and do a large plein air painting. I don't mean super large, although that would be nice too. But I mostly mean like a 16 by 20 or 18 by 24. That'd be nice. I wonder how cold it is there. It looks like it might be cold. Okay, there's our mountain range. We still have foreground trees we want to put in there. And some of those back. Let me try and get some of that light blue onto that those mountains in the back. Let's get super light. Maybe it would be better if it was purple. Yeah, kind of a little bit of a purple, I think. You know, we have the song Purple Mountains Majesties. Yes, because they do look purple sometimes. Just gotta be careful not to make it too purple. You don't want to make it look like a flower. Just a little bit, like a very watered down purple. You know what it needs? It's got to be like a blue purple. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Yeah. Some of these areas of snow are perfectly white, pure white, and others are a little like shadow on the snow. You know, like when you paint a snow scene on a winter card, which I should be doing more of my winter cards. I'm kind of slacking on that. But this is working here. I think these shadows on these snowy areas are looking like shadows. Yeah, I think that's all I need to do. Right there, it gives it that little bit of shade look. Hope it's all focused. I have to always worry about the focus. think that's all we need to do there. All right, let's get some of this dark, some of these pine trees here in the distance, on that distant hill over there. We'll put some of those in there. Kind of use a mixture of green and gray and black. Some of these trees that are over there across the lake. I think this takes a little bit of, it goes up like that, and then it goes over, so I need to fix that mountain there. That little distant hill here goes up a lot, off of the edge of the card. So, okay, I messed up on my sketch, but it's okay. It's always possible to add stuff, it's just hard to take stuff away. There we go. That looks pretty good. Some of these trees. Alright, now let's come over here to the foreground. Let's start making these trees over here. Put some rocks in the ground. It's a little bit too dark over there. Gotta water that down a little bit. Alright, let's put some of these, like I was doing the rocks. It's over here. Okay. Now let's get some of these evergreen trees here. They go all the way to the top. I'm going to start light. I'm going to work light to dark. Go off the card. The card ends right there, so I will take light to dark. Get some of these limbs here. And these trees come all the way down here and poke out over those mountains. I know it just looks like a bunch of green dots right now, but I think that's what I need to do in order to make it look like a thick part of the trail right where Robert was walking. And it looks like an unnatural green, so I will fix that. But you have to start somewhere, you know? That's right. Okay, now we can start getting darker. Go here to the bottom. keep a little area right here for a closer tree, I think. Try and get that. See if I can get that little bit of a tree right there. Kind of blends in once it gets to the top. And then you have the darkness around it. A little bit of light still shining through there. There we go. If you couldn't tell what I was doing, maybe now you can see it. Sometimes when you first start doing something, the onlooker wonders what you're doing. What are you doing? You're messing up the painting. And sometimes you are messing up the painting. Sometimes I mess up the painting pretty bad. Hopefully this time I got it right. I always hope I get it right. Can you imagine if you didn't? Can you imagine if you hoped you got it wrong? I guess you could do that. Okay, I'm still gonna try to work that water a little bit more. I gotta be careful with that water though, because I don't want to mess it up. So everything here, it's just these trees and everything that are in the foreground. See what it looks like now? You see that? All right, now let's put a tree over here. This tree's going to go all the way to the top. Let's start at the bottom though. I want to go all the way to the top. And part of the reason a painting works is because of contrast. There we go. All right, tree. A happy little tree, as Bob Ross would say. Just a happy little tree in the foreground. Try to decide how wide the tree should be at the bottom. Okay, so that's where I want to take it to. This must be a beautiful place to be in. There's in Robert's video he showed a resort that you could stay in, so that would be my choice. He stays in an RV. I don't have an RV, and I've always thought I'd like one, but I think I'm at the age now where I think I just want to get a nice room and then go hiking, you know. I like to go outside a lot. I don't want to stay stuck in the room, but when it comes to be nighttime, I used to love camping. Actually, I don't want to say used to. I think I still do. I don't know. I'm just not there anymore in my head. You know, when my son was younger, we went camping all the time. We couldn't afford much else. Camping was the way to actually do something. And you want to know something? You ever think that God has blessed you in a way that you never realized was a blessing? Like, we didn't have much money, and that was actually a blessing. It really was, because if we had a lot of money, we probably would have got the best hotels, you know. But because we didn't have anything, we got this little tent. We got some sleeping bags. You know, all we had to do was pay for gas, and you're going to eat anyway, so we had hot dogs or whatever. Chef Boyardee. But I mean, sometimes, you know, sometimes you're blessed with things you don't realize are a blessing until later on. Although, I'll be honest with you, I really always felt blessed. I never felt like somehow God had slighted me. I never have. How could I, you know? When you look around, you see some of the things that people have to deal with. How could you think you're not blessed when you have so many blessings? At least I speak for myself. Here's a tree. Look at this tree. It's coming up pretty nice. What do you think about that, huh? And then this Moraine Lake. Well, I feel like I've been there now. Now I feel like I've been there. I still feel like I need to do something more with that lake, but I'm not sure I want to, because I don't want to mess it up. I think what I'll do is I'll just take a clean brush with clean water. Alright, let me get some more of this gray and maybe dapple the sunlight a little bit here, because the sun's hitting this area here. There's some stones in the water. Just little hints of them. There. There you have a nice like a little, almost like a little beach right there, right by the water. Now let's try and get that turquoise color again. See if we can get that turquoise color. I'm doing a lot of mixing of blue and green. I kind of want to do a reflection of this. Come on, let's get it to be blue-green. Because this mountain in the distance, this hill, is reflecting in the water. And so is this one over here. So there are some areas that are a little bit darker because of the reflection. Just to kind of create that look of water. And this part is all reflecting the sky and the snow. Yeah, make that a little bit richer. What do you think about that? You think it's done? I think it might be done. Alright, let me scrub the back of the card and move these colors and keep them very messed up, like smearing cream cheese on a bagel. Alright, here we go. Alright, I'm going to turn off the camera, let it dry, and I'll be right back. Well, it's dry, but I'm wondering if I should add a little bit more white. So I'm going to use some gouache, little bit of gouache. Hope I don't mess it up. I'm going to add some more snow. Oh, come on, it's got to be white. It can't be anything but pure white. Alright, just got to add some. And then I got to add some to the water, I think. Just a little bit of that white reflecting in the water. Come on, brush. Don't disappoint me now. Oh well, this might not be working. Just adding a little white to this. I don't think I really need to, but I'm doing it. It's not really showing up as a pure white. I wonder if it's because it's not titanium white. And I'm going to try titanium white because it's weird. There's a white and there's a titanium white. So I'm going to use a little bit of titanium white gouache. Let's see. We're going to learn a little something here. So I never understood what the difference was between white and titanium white. And maybe now I'm going to have a lesson. Let me make sure I got that. Let me see. Does that really look any different? Not really, but I guess I can see it. At least the idea of having some white in the water just makes sense to me. Maybe some white more of that snow cap, the snow on that mountain is just very interesting and presents a challenge, you know, to paint. Well, see, the white's working okay on that dark gray. That's the problem. I'm trying to put white on a very, very light surface. So that's what the problem is. And the real best white is the white that is left over from the paper underneath. But I think this is giving a little bit of a hint of motion in the water. A little bit of. This is a very still lake anyway. I don't think it had waves. But still, you know, all bodies of water have ripples in them, so I think that's all I'll do there. I could probably add a little bit of white to the edge of this tree here. It didn't quite come out the way I wanted it to. So I still don't know the difference between white and titanium white. I should Google it. What is the difference between white and titanium white? Okay, I guess it's done now. All right, let's fold it and make it a card. There is our card. All right, there's our card from Moraine Lake. Thank you, Robert Morales, for your inspiration, for your entertainment, and for taking me someplace I never would have gone. But who knows? Like I say never say never. All right, talk to you later. Bye.